Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I hope to finish in the month of January. January, she gone. In the month of February. This particular list does not include what I read for the 1,000 Pages Readathon because technically I read those between January and February, so they fall in a weird little limbo of I read some in January, some in February, so that's going to get its own little wrap-up once that is done, and that should be... Actually, that's done. By the time this is posted, that will have already been done. So keep an eye out for my thoughts on what I read for the 1,000 Pages Readathon. I am setting myself very modest TBRs because even though my Goodreads goal is astronomically high, it is a goal. If I get there, awesome. My purpose for this year is to just read and to not put some fucking pressure on it about like, oh my god, I'm a failure. But like to just read some damn books. So, and get some of this TBR cleared because y'all, it is excessive. Like, look at this. Are you kidding me? There's just a pile of books, and then behind that is another pile of books over here, and then there's another pile of books. Look at all. That's not even half. That's not even half. All right, now that you're back in the place that you belong, this little box, I'm gonna go over these books so that this video isn't 10 hours long like my last one. First up, I'm going to be rereading one of my favorite series, and I usually revisit this series when I am feeling depressed. and it pulls me back, and it makes me feel better because it is completely immersive for me. It is a beautiful magic system. It is a character that I personally feel a great connection with, so it puts me back on track for reading. So the first book that I'm going to be reading in the month of February is The Naming. It is the first book of Pelennor. It is by Alison Croghan, not Grogan, which is what I have seen. Also, maybe it's not Croghan. Maybe it's like Krogan, or maybe it's Krogon. You know? Who knows? But it starts with a C, not a G, so stop shelving it in G, booksellers of the world, because I see you, and I am not thrilled with you. I keep putting it back where it belongs, which is in C. This is the first book in a series of 4, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And it deals with a system of magic that is told very beautifully through a lot of very flowery prose about, you know, unassuming girl is the chosen one and has to go on a journey to save the world. Very tropey, very cliche. I love it a lot. The system of magic is interesting too because it deals a lot with like music and like bard natures, and it's the thought that knowledge and music and art and beauty are things that everyone should have access to, and the main character has not had access to those things, so she seeks them out and starts to find her true power, and her true nature is a lot more than she ever gave herself credit for, and she has to save the world. You know? Like, it's a big deal. If you haven't read this, you should read it, because it's fucking great. The second book that I'm going to hopefully be reading in February is The Heart Forger, which I think is very appropriate for this month of love. You know, read a book about hearts and forging of hearts. Literally, that's not even what this book is. This book is going to be about death and destruction and maybe some love story, but mostly death and destruction based on what I read in the first one, because this is the second book in the Bone Witch trilogy. The first book was very much setting this up to be a war. Valentine's Day. She wore the corpses for show. That is the flavor text on the back of this fucking book. Ooh. Ooh, let me read you this. She wore the corpses for show. They trailed behind her, grotesque fabrics of writhing flesh and bone, spreading across the plain for miles around us. Intimidation, she told me, amused by my repulsion. Men abandon battle when they see their own fates in these ruined faces. I'm in love! This bitch is stone cold badass. I am so ready for this because the first book was a little bit boring and you didn't get to see very much of this bitch. But if this is what I'm about to be in for, I'm ready. I'm so ready. I might even start with this one because she wore the corpses for show. Tim Gunn says make it work and she says okay. The next book that I'm going to be reading is a book that is very hyped up by Reagan over at Peruse Project here on BookTube, The City of Brass. I talked about this briefly in my haul video. Essentially, this is a book that deals with the concept of genie, Ginny, Jinn, however you want to pronounce it, and pretty much just that is why I'm interested in the book, but it also has to do, you know, there's some magic, there's some con artist stuff going on here, and I'm just in the mood to read something that isn't for young adults, just because I've been reading a lot of young adult lately that is kind of trash, kind of garbage, and I need to read something that's not kind of trash and kind of garbage, and this seems like it might be it. So this is a papa of a book, though, let me tell you. It is 526 pages, and there's no pictures in it at all, so you know, picture books, not for me. It's like 2-point font, and it's a trade, so it's like the perfect flop. Like, look at that. Y'all, I can prop this up on a pillow and just not leave my room, which is why I'm reading it, because I just don't want to leave my room. The next book that I'm going to be hopefully reading is Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson. This is a book that just feels like one big meme, honestly, and my boyfriend recommended it to me because it's one big meme. Let me just read you the back, okay? Because that's how we're doing this. In reality, hero protagonist. Yes, that is the main character's name. Hero protagonist delivers pizza for Uncle Enzo's Casa Nostra Pizza Inc. Oh, y'all, like I said in a previous video, I pronounce everything correctly in my head, and then once I try and say it, it's garbage, so just bear with me. But in the metaverse, he's a warrior prince. Is this a book about World of Warcraft? Because I'm in. Yeah. Plunging headlong into the enigma of a new computer virus that's striking down hackers everywhere, he races along the neon-lit streets on a search-and-destroy mission for the shadowy virtual villain threatening to bring about the infopocalypse. This feels like a Sam Riegel ad from Critical Role. It's a big meme, and I want to read it, so I'm excited. I'm excited about all of these books, and I have to remind myself to stop saying I'm excited. Because it feels disingenuous, Felicia, okay? So stop it. And the last book that is on my official TBR for the month of February is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. I am intrigued by this concept because I've only ever read one other book that had cloth or embroidery or sewing as the forefront of, like, the plot or the creation system, I guess. It wasn't even magic. It was called Homeless Bird, and it was about a girl from like rural India becoming something of herself because she was using the skills her mother taught her as an embroiderer to like make her way in life. So that book is great. But this one is about a competition, and the main character, Maya, works as a seamstress in the shop of her father, once a tailor of renown. She dreams of becoming the greatest tailor in the land, but as a girl, the best she can hope for is to marry well. And boy, if that ain't just a fucking theme for how society works. Oh, you want to do this? But you're a girl. And I love defying that particular stereotype. And I love defying the norms that are set by our society. and just being like, excuse me, I'm a little bit more badass than just getting married. But also, if I want to get married, I can. So suck my left nut. Anyway, back to the plot of this. The main character, Maya, poses as the son of her father to enter a competition to become this tailor for whoever the royal person is, and there's 12 other competitors and she is pretending to be a boy, so you know it's gonna be stressful, and I am excited. I am curious to see how this goes, because I have read plenty of books where girl wants to be something but she can't because restrictions, so she pretends to be a boy. And some of those books did a very good job of that idea and telling that story, and some of those books were hot fucking garbage. I hope this isn't hot fucking garbage, because it's a really pretty book and I would like to keep it, so I hope it's good. Because if it's not, it's getting donated, y'all. That is what I plan on attempting to read for the month of February. And I hope that I made you laugh a little bit. I hope I made you inspired to maybe pick up a couple of these books and read them as well. And if I didn't do either of those things, wow, I will work on that. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to interact with me some more, I have a Twitter account, Goodreads, and Bookstagram all down below. I will also do my best at answering your comments. I have crippling depression and anxiety, so it's hard for me to interact sometimes, but I really try and put myself out there. So thank you for staying around and for putting up with me. So, because I love you guys, and I love that you think I matter. Because sometimes I don't. Wow, this got real dark. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!